You know you're recording right now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm leaving it in there, too. Okay, welcome back to another podcast, Lifer, which is what, bro? If you don't know this, shame on you.
I don't.
Love yourself,
yeah.
fully equipped realness.
Ooh.
Lifer, get the acronym, okay?
Acronyms.
So this session, this episode, which is the third episode of the season, we want to talk about... We're live. Want to talk about love again, but we also want to talk about rejection and acceptance, and you know that sometimes it can all be in your mind, right? Mm-hmm. So what about love do you want to talk on, bro? Little bro, baby bro.
But why does love have to be so complicated?
That is so true. And me coming from the old school, right? I'm like, it should be easy. You like me, I like you, no problems. Like, let's just, get married, start a family. Let's just rush right in there. And
what was that saying we said when we were kids? When you used to like somebody, kissing on the tree and son.
Oh yeah, blah 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 blah, kissing in the tree. KISSING. First comes love, then comes marriage, then comes a baby, and the baby carried. But even that, like, it was so simple on a piece of paper. Do you like me? X for yes or X for no.
Or X for maybe.
No, I ain't want no maybe. You yes or no. Black or white. No in between.
You give me in between because I know.
No, but seriously, why is it complicated? What do you think makes it so complicated?
I don't know. I think that we... Excuse me. I think that we... I think that we just make things complicated because we're easily always trying to impress everybody. And we want people to like us so much. Instead of just being our own self.
Fearful of rejection, which is what's coming up. Yeah, which makes sense. For me, I definitely believe that, social media has a lot to do with it. And me coming from like an old school generation. Also, I do believe that dating apps infringe upon people finding true love because there's always an option. There's always someone better. You always could just swipe right instead of truly taking the time to get to know someone and seeing if they're compatible for you.
Very true.
It's social media. It's like, let me just keep refreshing the page and seeing what other, piece of booty is up on there, or boobs, or whatever it is that you like. Me and my friend Denise, her birthday just passed, and we were talking about the whole dating concept. Shout out to Denise. She's gonna come on the podcast one of these days. But she was talking about, it being like a buffet, where you are the table and you bring yourself to the table, but you can't make somebody eat. If they hungry, they're hungry. If they're not, they not. Or they just come in to the buffet for a bunch of options, not just one plate, So I thought that was really interesting, her analogy on that topic.
All you can eat buffet? I mean, heck.
Like social media, that's an all-you-can-eat buffet, right? Because everybody's putting their plate out there on the table. And you go to these all-you-can-eat buffets so you can have a little bit of everything.
True.
Right? And so I think that's why it's so difficult, instead of going to a fine, 5-star, Michelin star restaurant, picking out the perfect meal that has all the nutrients that you need, people are going to buffets because they have more than one choice.
Do we have more than one choice?
I mean, I make sure that I don't, like, when I really like someone, I try to really put all my attention into that person. And then once that, if it doesn't work out, then yes, obviously I'll move on to someone else. But I actually, for my personal, interest, I don't like dating a whole bunch of people at one time.
Well, I wouldn't consider it dating, like, if you're in love. Like, I'm very reserved for that one person too. But at the same time, to me, it's like, if we haven't made anything official and if you haven't given me the title, I'm not just gonna be bound to close myself to one person.
I get what you're saying, but my thing is, if my primary goal is being in love and being in one relationship, how will I really know if that person suits me if I'm spreading my attention to everybody else? I need to give that person my undivided attention so I know that that person has the qualities that I need to move further. And then if it doesn't work, then on to the next.
Well, to me, it's much more of I'm still having my options, because in the long term for me is, okay, well, how sure are you about me? How sure am I of you? And I get your point, but to me, it's just kind of like love. When it comes to love, yes, reserved for that one,
but keep your options open.
Keep my options open.
I can understand that. I definitely understand that. I mean, I'm not cut from that cloth. I'm a very, straightforward, monogamous person. You got my attention, and you have it until you lose it, right? And it's up to you how long you keep it,
Think about love.
So, anything else you want to touch on, hermanito, cuando se trata de las cosas del amor? You like that R.
Baby.
¿Por qué estamos así? Yo creo que fue por mami.
Love itself. It's just a complicated subject, honestly. To me, we don't have to make it complicated, but it just is.
Yeah.
But I just want to get to the juicy stuff already.
Wait, what's the juicy stuff? We talked about sex the last 2 episodes.
I don't want to talk about sex right now.
Well, what you want to talk about?
I want to talk about the tea. I want to talk about the juice. I want to know about rejection.
Yeah.
Because I think that comes in a
lot of different flavors. People love to just hurt other people's feelings, man.
Well, if it's the one question that I would ask myself, what do you feel rejection comes from? Or where does it come from?
Oh, I mean, I could talk all day about this because I have been rejected several times. I know it's hard to believe because I'm so amazing, right? Yeah, I know. Not narcissistic, but, But I've also been the rejector as well. I can't just sit here and be like, woe's me, I always get rejected. I've also been on the other side where I've had to reject someone. But I'm a very considerate individual. So if I do reject someone, from my point of view, I like to, make sure that there's closure, and I like to make sure that there's respect, right? And my idea behind rejecting someone is like telling them, like, look, this is why I'm not interested. Not that I owe them anything, but be like, hey, I really liked you. I thought you were cool and everything, but I just feel like we don't mesh. I wish you the best, blah, blah. I think that's a decent form of rejection because there's closure, right? Mm-hmm. But the rejection that I hate the most, my most pet peeve, like it's nails on a chalkboard. I hate it so much. Like, listen. I hate it so much. It boils my blood. Can I make it any more clear than that? I'm even getting angry thinking about it. Is when I get ghosted. It is the worst rejection ever. When things are going perfect and then all of a sudden just poof, disappeared. Like, I hate that. Zero communication and zero reasoning behind. Just one day you're there, one day you're not.
I'm sorry, when you said that, it kind of just reminded me of the Titanic. Like when Rose is telling Jack, come back.
Yeah, like you leaving me out here in this water to die. Like what?
Especially in the freezing cold.
It sucks. Being ghosted. I've never ghosted anyone, but I've been ghosted, and that really does hurt because it's like, why can't you have the courage or the respect for yourself and me to say, like, look, I'm just not interested. To me, that means you don't, no pun intended, but like you ain't got no balls.
I feel like for most people, it's not about them wanting to ghost. It's, I think, more than one thing. Like, for example, I've been ghosted for many reasons. And half of those reasons have been hurtful. Mm-hmm. Either I look too purty.
Yes, you are. You're gorgeous.
Too purr. either I'm too handsome, or I'm too masculine, or I'm too feminine, or there's never you're just being you. It's always more of you're too much of this, you're too much of that. Everybody puts their own interpretation of what you're supposed to be, instead of just understanding who you're supposed to be as a person. So rejection does come in like a whole lot of different ways and forms, and a lot of people don't accept that. But when you really like someone, as you said, the worst thing to feel is being rejected.
Yeah, feeling like you're not enough and not knowing why. And then because the rejection is fine, like I said earlier, if there's closure. But if somebody's just, like, if everything is going perfectly well and then just poof, just they don't talk to you no more, and you're like left like, what I do?
Casper, where'd you go?
Yeah, like, what did I do? Or what did I say? Like, you automatically put the onus on you, like something happened wrong with you for that person to just up and disappear out of nowhere. And that's the part about ghosting, I think me and many other people would say is the traumatizing part, the hurtful part of rejection.
Not only, I think it's only that, but I think it's what so much of what society puts in our heads of what we as human beings should accept and shouldn't accept. Like, we grow up learning how to be victimized so much. We learn of religion. If you're not baptized, you're gonna go to hell, or all these things that people put in our heads. It's the same thing when it comes down to relationships. And like, let's say, maybe this person's a little too open. That's not the person for you. So I feel like society puts a lot of that in our heads, so that when we do find someone, we're kind of like, yeah, that's not for me. Or if you party, you drink too much, or you do other drugs, that ain't for me. Like, you gotta know your pros and your cons. Like, what will be for you and what wouldn't be for you. Pero the tea of rejection, what would be the best thing that you would tell your younger self, knowing what you know now?
I mean, drinking tea is inevitable. Just add some honey to that bitch.
She said add some honey.
Meaning rejection is inevitable, right? But the adding the honey is the second or the third part to what we were going to talk to today, is about acceptance. Right? Which I think is a very smooth transition. Hey, look at us.
We twerking.
We're gonna eventually film this and put it on the YouTube channel, but for now it's just gonna stay on Google Podcasts, Amazon, Apple, or Spotify. So yeah, acceptance. It took me a while. I always pointed the finger at me. I'm big for holding accountability, right? But there are some points where I finally realized, like, sometimes it's not me. Sometimes then it's also not for me to know. Like, if someone rejects me or ghosts me, it really might not have nothing to do with me. It just might have to do with them and their insecurities. And that for me was the hardest thing to learn, because I'm always like, well, they walked away from me for a reason. It must have been something I did. But no, sometimes you could be the most perfect person in the relationship, and they just walk away for their own reasons, and it has nothing to do with you. And you gotta be okay with that and just accept it for what it is.
Well, I don't know. I think that the worst feeling is being in love with somebody, being with them for 4 years, and then randomly just say, I can't do this because I'm not out. Or, I'm not out the closet. And then you having to accept that. I think that that's hurtful.
Well, yeah, because you invested a lot of time in that person. If they loved you, they should have made that clear instead of them, but
indulging into it.
But at the same time too, right? Like, here's my thing, and something that it was also a very hard pill for me to swallow, is that life is changing. Everything is changing all the time. Look at the weather. It's March and the weather is just raining one day, sunny the next, right?
It's cold.
So, like, life is changing, people change, circumstances change. Nobody's ever gonna be the same forever.
Right.
So as much as I wish and I pray that I get married and have kids and I'll have my little fairy tale, the reality of the situation is there's no such thing as a fairy tale, because everything changes. There's not always going to be a happy ending. There's not always going to be a sad ending. Everything is temporary. Life in itself is temporary. There's a yin and a yang. There's life and there's death, right? So in a relationship, you can't ever be certain when you get in a relationship, no matter how solid it is, that relationship is going to be forever.
That's true. I mean, as a saying that I learned and I picked up in like the Bronx, right? One of my old bosses used to say, "Lanta Pues." Mm-hmm. If it's not for you today, it's like any passing day.
Ooh, that's a good one. Say it again. Say it again.
Pa'lante pues. It's like any other day. But
or yeah. Celia Cruz, ríe, llora, cada cual llega a su hora.
I think that the beauty of it all is point blank period that you not only you learn yourself, but you learn to accept yourself. I think what I would tell my younger self would be the same thing that I just said, pa'lante pues, which I had held high. And I think I've always done that.
I think so.
And majority of people always ask me, how is it that you went through so much and you still look at life like nothing's gonna stop you? Because you control it. You make your destiny. You're what, you know, you're writing your own book. Mm-hmm. What do you want your book to say? Shit, I could write a whole one.
And I think that like transitions very smoothly into it's all in your mind, right? Yeah. You create the life. Why are we like so smooth with it though? Like, but you truly create the life that you want, right? What's in your mind is what's gonna be your reality. You know, if you're like, oh, I'm never gonna find anyone, everybody hates me, I'm gonna have a horrible life, well, that's what you're gonna have, you know. But if you're like, I'm a lovable person, I'm a person who deserves, in my case, marriage and a family, a husband, you know, that'll come because I'm creating the surroundings in my life and the situations and the skill set to be a wife, to be a mother, to have the home that I want, right? The family that I want. So, and another thing also with your mind, and I learned this by finding my family actually, is not everything is on your time. So just because you're mentally programming your mind for what you want, that doesn't mean that you're gonna get it right away. That means that it's coming to you, but it's coming to you when it's time for you to have it, not for when you want it. Like my family, for example, I've been in my mind, I'm gonna find my family, I'm gonna see my family, I'm gonna blah, 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 blah. And it took 30 some odd years, and I finally met them for the first time 6 months ago, you know?
But I'm pretty sure that those have been the most enjoyed 6 months out of your like whole life, learning a whole new chapter. But
the understanding that what I want and I'm manifesting, right, is coming to fruition, but it's not coming when I want it. It's coming when the universe decides to give it to me.
Right. I mean, I feel like our tongue is the strongest muscle in like, you know, the whole universe, because what we say is what we put out there. And the universe gives it back. Mm-hmm. I feel like always looking at life in a positive way is always the best thing. Mm-hmm. But true. Kind of making me think a little.
Even like in the Bible, I mean, I don't know the verse completely, but I think it's like speak it and so shall it be done or something like that.
Let me look it up.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
We're going to leave you guys with some positivity today.
Yeah, and we're going to leave you guys with tarjetica, because I'm doing lo del... ¿Cómo se dice esto? It's not tarot what I'm doing. ¿Cómo es?
That will be considered tarot, I think.
But it doesn't have like the tarot things on it. It's different.
That's fine. It's still the cards.
Yeah, I don't know, should I let my brother say it? I'm like a freaking Avenger now, you guys. I got powers.
So, the saying is, ask and it will be given to you, seek and you will find, knock and the door will open to you. For everyone who asks receives, he who seeks finds, and to him who knocks, the door will be opened. That is Matthew chapter 7.
Absolutely. You see, so like everything comes full circle, you know. You have to understand that love comes first within yourself. You have to love yourself. 2, you will be rejected. That's inevitable. That's part of life. People change. People's thoughts change. People's desires change. All that change. And acceptance, you know, you have to accept everything that comes your way. And lastly, you have to program your mind to be optimistic, to love yourself, and to understand this life goes round, you know. It's a circle. Nothing is ever set in stone, and you kind of have to just go with it and do what's best for you. And always, all the time, that should be love. Loving yourself first.
First you, then whoever's next, and then, you know, the rest of the world.
All right, here, hold the phone, bro. I am going to do the cards.
She about to do that card. Oh, y'all ready for this? Drum roll.
So I've been doing the cards for a minute now, and a lot of people that I've done them for, basically like my friends and family. I've even done it for you, Louis. What did you think about it?
She kind of freaked me out.
It was pretty accurate.
It was, but you freaked me out. I was like, oh.
So I'm gonna pull 2 cards.
And I'm used to this type of stuff because I've done it myself.
And I'm not. I'm a newbie.
I said, hi, what? You know my life story. You know this, but the cards do.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, I've learned to tap into my energy, and I think part of tapping into my energy and having that spiritual awakening is the fact that I did love myself, and I'm learning to accept all of the changes that are around me. And when you do that, you tap into like a whole other different energy. So, cards, spirit, God, my universe, please, whoever's listening to this, please let me know what card should come out for them. The Jeopardy.
And you didn't even have no wine or nothing.
I know. Oh, wow. Look at this card that came out. Do you want to read it here? You read it while I shuffle the other deck.
It says abundance.
And read the back.
Ow. So it says being a thoughtful steward for the money you already have is the secret to creating more abundance. When you trust yourself to handle more, that's when more shows up.
Ooh,
do you ever do that?
I feel like that's what we just talked about, though.
Yeah.
Because abundance happens, not just money, but more of anything, love, whatever you want. Like when you trust yourself, acceptance, right? And you program your mind, that's when abundance comes. So I think the card really goes well with, you know, what we're talking about.
I won ching-a-ding-ling-ling-ling.
And it has $3 signs. And what is 3? What is the numerology for 3? Isn't that like a good number? I mean, I know for religion, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. So you can't really go wrong with 3, can you?
Yeah. What's the next card? What's the next card? What's the next card? Oh, you giving me 3 cards.
Okay, I guess they want us to talk about this. Oh, wow. All right. So, first card. Number 1. What does it say here?
Da-da-da-da. It's like that Michael Myers moment.
It says, you can be your own knight. You may be in a dire situation you need escaping from. Rest assured, you have the power within to preserve what you already know you don't need, and to be rescued by Prince Charming and chivalrous knight in shining armor. You got your own shield and sword, and God helps anyone who thinks they can do a good job. So right there, like we literally just talked about it, right? God helps those who help themselves. Right. Create the life you want.
So I'm gonna be like Adele right now. Hello, it's me.
All right, let's read the other one that fell out, which is 28. Okay.
Dun, 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 dun.
28, start a revolution. You've been looking around and noticing that the world is often unjust, but you're not sure what to do about it. Like Katniss. Katniss is from Hunger Games. You need to be the first spark of your own revolution. Self-care, self-love. Educate yourself. Program your mind. Stand up for yourself. Don't forget to stand up for others, whether or not you have shared experiences. If you can speak up, the tongue, powerful, right? And do so safely, then do it. I mean, these cards are literally, basically reaffirming everything that we just talked about.
Hello.
And the last card, number 30, is
30.
It's time for healing, not war. Don't burn something down to the ground unless you have a plan to build something better in its place. But it's too late for that, isn't it? You got angry. You pointed the finger and called war. War is exactly what you got. Now it's time for healing, reparations. What's your plan? You need to take some initiative and determination. You have what we started and figure it out. Never neglect your intuition. So what I get from that card is basically also what we talked about: self-care, self-healing, and building yourself up first before you can be with anybody or do anything, right?
Yes.
Like, what did you get from it?
But I always tell myself, Lanta Pues.
Ay, mimo.
Like any other day.
Ay, mimo.
You can't let fear of being rejected or fear of
war,
anything, even if you're struggling with mental health and whether it's physical appearance and stuff like that, you can't let it affect you. I know it's easier said than done. A lot of people say it will get better. Yes, it does get better.
I think out of a lot of people, we can really say it gets better because we've been through the ringer.
We have.
We have been through it all.
I mean, literally, I done been in my deathbed. I done been in car accidents. What haven't I been in?
Yeah.
So, as long as you're willing to set your mind to move forward, pa'lante, you can do anything.
Pa'lante pues.
Let me move a mountain. Moving a mountain somewhere, But you have to keep your head up, think positive thoughts, and even when somebody tests your patience, you have to be willing to put yourself in that moment. Like, would it let it affect me and my peace? Mm-hmm. No, you can't.
Yeah.
Because you got to look at the bright side. I'm still here. I'm still breathing. God wakes us up every day. Why are you not smiling?
Yeah,
you in a
if
bad
they
mood?
reject you, if they ghost you, it's all right. It's all right.
So, before we go, one experience that you have dealt with the best way possible, that you have gotten something out of. Because we have to end this in a positive note.
Okay. Which one? There's so many. Should I do the homeless one? I feel like I should do that one. Which one should I do?
Up to you. Whatever you decide that connects most. Whatever comes to your mind.
Okay. So, for me, I think the situation that I took the positive route, but it wasn't the greatest, right? That's the question you're asking me. Is when I was homeless. And actually, right now, I'm looking out the window out to where I was homeless. And it's like looking from the inside out, it's just still very nostalgic for me, even though it happened a long time ago. But how did I make that situation good? Well, one, I actually found this corner here, a dead end where nobody would bother me, where I would feel safe. And I worked as a waitress and I worked at Rite Aid, had 2 jobs, and I would take that money and go to the gym and pay the $10 a month at Planet Fitness so that I could take a shower every day. So even being homeless, I was still able to be clean, right?
Right.
And by going to the gym every day, I actually got ripped. I had a great body. I had like a little 4-pack and everything. And I was able to save money.
She's shaking her pom pom.
And I turned that situation that would normally be like a bad situation. I was focused. I was determined. I had trained my mind to say this is temporary. I'm going to at least get my shower in. I'm going to have money because I'm a waitress to get me some food. And I'll stay in my car until I can just work these 2 jobs, save up some money, and get my place to live. And so any other person, that might be very troublesome. But when you put your mind to like, I got this, and you believe in yourself, you come out of it. And lo and behold, not only was I homeless in the corner there, but now I've been in the apartment here for many years, right? And it's interesting how those things kind of play out. You can do it, even when you're the most dire of needs and nobody's there to help you, because no one was there to help me. As a matter of fact, I called my other brother and I said, I'm homeless, I need help. This is my older brother. He's military, enforcement, everything. Mm-hmm. And he told me he could not help me. The person that I trusted the most, that I thought would keep me safe, left me on the street, abandoned me, right? So that's another thing I want you guys to know. The people that you think are going to have your back the most might not have your back. You have to be your best friend. You have to be your advocate. You have to have your own back. What do we say in the beginning of the podcast? You have to love yourself. Mm-hmm. So, yes, I got rejected by my brother, but I accepted myself. I loved myself. I programmed myself, and I was able to get into a home and not be homeless for too long. I mean, it was pretty long, but not as long as a lot of other people who can't get off the streets.
As they say, better late than never.
Yeah. So I hope anybody out there who feels rejected by family, unloved, or is homeless, or struggling in any way, I really, with all of my heart, can promise you it will pass and it will get better.
It sure does.
Okay, I gave my story. You gotta get it.
I think mine would be, I think that the best thing that I've ever learned was due to mental health. Mm-hmm. I think when you have knocked on every door looking for that safe haven from people and not having anyone, you're questioning your existence. You're questioning who you are. Why am I here if it's not meant for me? So on a positive note, I learned that even when I knocked on doors and I did not get anywhere or anyone, for example, I look this bomb, like people would say, I'm too handsome, I should be on a billboard somewhere. I still feel like I was never enough when I was younger. So I knocked on doors. Like when I say knocked on doors, it's more of like I went to people looking for love and not knowing that the only true love that I really needed was my own. So after dealing with depression, anxiety and stuff, like even suicide, like, you know, people don't know what you're going through. Yeah. So going to therapy, talking things out and understanding who you are and loving yourself first, I think that's what made me become the person that I am now. Yeah. I'm more stronger. I'm very reserved, but I'm also crazy. Don't get it wrong.
Yes, I can attest to that.
But I think that the positive about this all is like you have been challenged. You done been through the mud. You done been through the fire. You done been stabbed in the back. What haven't I been through that I can't say that I haven't experienced? But the most of it all is my mental health. The capacity of everything that I went through is something that tested me so much that I told myself, I can't. Why? Why me? Questions. And I even said at one point, I'm done. But knowing the fact that I had some people that I adored and loved actually kept me pushing. And you know, those like I say, I have you, I have my nieces and my nephew, and the people that actually have been there for me. And that's what kept me pushing forward, because I can't see a world where I'm not in it. So that kind of opened the gate for me to tell me, you are enough. Why are you questioning your own existence? Like, if somebody can't love you or give you that, you don't need them.
Absolutely, 110%. Like
so, pa'lante, pues, like, keep going forward. Think about the positive. Think about the amazing things that you can do.
Love and light.
Hey, a lot of people said I was never going to graduate college or graduate high school.
And you think?
I have.
A lot of people didn't think I got kicked out of Rutgers. I got expelled. True. And who came back and graduated with honors? 2 semesters. Straight A's.
Look at us doing great things. College, you did your thing. I'm still doing my thing. Got my associates, 2 honor societies, and still pushing forward. Working a good job. Shit, we moving forward.
Absolutely. And for anyone out there, we are going to close up soon, but anyone out there who's like, oh, that's great, Betty. That's great, Betty's brother, Louis. How do I get started? I have an idea on how you can get started. It worked for me. It might not work for you, but I would say try it. And how I got started was practicing gratitude. Every single day when I wake up in the morning, the first thing I say is, good morning, God. Thank you so much for another day. When I go to bed, I think about all the people that I'm grateful for. And I also practice, not as much as I like. I'm still working on it too. I'm a work in progress. But I reach out to people that I'm really grateful for. And I let them know, hey, I'm grateful for you. Out of the blue. Like, and this is why.
Like, I get that text message in the morning. Hey, bro. Good morning. Love you. Talk to you later. I'm like, oh, good morning. Love you too.
And I don't know if I've expressed it enough, but I will continue to tell you, I'm so grateful for you. I think, you know, you and I finding mommy the way we did, I've always bonded to you, and I've realized in looking back at the situation and how our lives have been very parallel and different at the same time, I feel like mommy knew that we were gonna need each other. And because I didn't really have a family, I didn't really have brothers like that, I feel like mommy kind of gave me you as a brother. Like, that was my little final gift in the bow. You know what I mean? So I'm so grateful for you. Because of you, I feel like I'm a better person, and I couldn't have asked for a better brother. I mean, for years I've been like, oh, I don't have family, I don't have anyone who loves me, and it's like, wait a minute, no, I have a family member. He's right there, and he loves me, and he shows me, and for that, I just want to say I appreciate you. I'm grateful for you, and I thank God for you every single day.
That was like smooches, like at every angle. I'm over here like, yeah, you got it, don't stop.
So, make sure you tell the people that are in your life that you love them and show gratitude. And not just with the people in your life, but, be grateful for whoever you believe in, and be grateful for yourself too.
I agree with that, but I feel like it may not be financially, it may not be in some way that you want it, but they will help you in some form or way.
Yeah.
Because you showed me that as well when I was going through all my messes. And hey, take the positive out of it. Don't second guess or question yourself, but just push forward. I'm gonna keep saying Lanta Pues, push forward.
All right, I think that wraps up the podcast. I hope you guys love it. If you do, please comment on either one of my Instagrams, either the Lifer one or the Betty Perez XO. And if you want to reach out to my brother, do you want to share your...
Maybe in the next one when we on video. So y'all can see how sassy I am.
Yes, because he is gorgeous, model status.
Like Estania says, you so sassy.
Oh, and that's another person I'm grateful for. Pinky, I love you.
Pinky. Pinky, you are the reason I can fly.
All right, bye.
Bye.